Well, good morning. Welcome to Mirador Television, broadcasting out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewis, in the United Kingdom. But we know we have a number of people who watch from abroad, and we welcome you to today's program. Can I just remind everybody that tomorrow is a public holiday, and so is Monday. And so, sadly, there will be no Mirador. Oh, terribly, terribly sad, although we may pop up with things from time to time. Perhaps we'll go straight to what we do best, and that is we look at the news headlines as reflected on the day's papers. And the first newspaper today is the Metro. And it goes with the story of Nicola Sturgeon, or her husband at least, being hauled in by the coppers and being questioned about some dodgy financial stuff in the SNP, Scottish National Party's coffers. And what the paper says is Peter Morrell has been arrested. He's the former SNP chief executive and husband of the former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, as part of an investigation into party finances. The Metro features an image of blue tents, and police tape outside the couple's home in a quiet cul-de-sac in Moscow, and notes that a search of SNP headquarters in Edinburgh was made at the same time. Is Morrell, who resigned as chief executive last month, has been released without parole. So that's where you stand, chaps. That's where you're going to have to watch this. And she's quite attractive in many ways. Is this attractive lady? I speak with forked tongue. Anyway, we mustn't presuppose anything before a trial, but she and her husband have been arrested. The Daily Mail: is this real reason why Sturgeon walked out? The Mail asks whether knowledge of the arrest was the real reason behind Nicola Sturgeon's own resignation as SNP leader and First Minister. A spokesman for the former First Minister said she had no prior debt and no prior knowledge of Police Scotland's actions or intentions. An image of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who the paper says have not confirmed whether they are all attending the King's coronation next month. That's the Mail. It's usual forceful self, pulling no punches. Right, police face questions over possible delay to arrest Sturgeon's home. The plot thickens now, and apparently, when the arrests were made, the police swooped, as it were. They took their sweet time over it, and so there is some suggestion that political pressure was put on this whole thing. Police chiefs in Scotland are being urged to reveal if they faced political pressure to delay the arrest until after a replacement was found. The Daily Telegraph reports that the paper quotes former SNP Senator Alex Neil, who served as health secretary in Miss Sturgeon's first government. It says that Police Scotland should make clear if they were asked in any way to delay the arrest, and if so, why did they do so? The Telegraph's Scottish editor, Alan Cochrane, comments, only an election can sweep away the cobwebs of a disgraced administration. Well, it's certainly got the blood of the Scots racing, but I think this is probably has a lot more widespread things that are going to come out of this. The Guardian has a go at the royal family. They're not at all kind, as they probably never are. What they're saying is an exclusive investigation of the money the royal family has made from private estates. The newspaper reports that King Charles and the late Queen made £1.2 billion pounds in income from vast land and property portfolios, growing 16-fold over the late Queen's reign. It suggests that the findings have reignited a centuries-old debate that the earnings should be redistributed to the public instead. Well, we're getting some very strange ideas about who does what and so on, don't we? And no new smart motorways to be built amid safety fears, says the Eye. And that can help because, well, I don't know they can help, but the smart motorways have had a very bad track record. And it looks as if the failures have really got through to the politicians, and that they are going to stop building them until this issue is resolved, which probably means that they'll never be built again. So no new smart motorways to be built. The Times, a country love, is a Tory MP is gambling cash for access. Now, we have to be careful how we read this because I haven't actually understood totally what we're on about here, and it is absolutely essential that we find out. The Times leads with its own exclusive on its front page. Tory MP Scott Benton was filmed suffering to lobby ministers for a fake company in return for payments by undercover reporters posing as gamblers. The undercover investigation found Mr. Benton, who was suspended as a Conservative MP after the story broke, did not pursue the role and made no rules appearances at all. I'm not sure really what the Times is getting at that. I understand that incumbent MPs have an opportunity to have a go and to investigate Nicola Sturgeon and what she stands for, but I think they're making much more much more. What do we call them? Swimming baths. Then we have made a lot of other things. So the Daily Express says the Prime Minister says migrant barge is fair and will save money. Okay, we're back to the people coming across the channel and how we plan to house them in huge barges and keep them offshore. The Daily Express features an image of King Charles sipping his favourite drink, gin, on a distillery tour in Yorkshire. But the main story is on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's defence of government plans to house 500 migrants in a barge off the Dorset coast. The PM describes it as fair and a saving for taxpayers, the paper says. Well, that's not going to go away either. The Mirror turns attention to the campaign to stop convicted killers from refusing to. Right, okay. I think that we can leave that one. It's a bit complicated. Financial Times. Ukraine ready for Crimea talks with the Kremlin if counteroffensive succeeds. And it looks as if there is some suggestion that the Ukraine side, if you like, is beginning to tank the Russians. So what Zelensky is saying, listen, we can't keep this up. It costs a fortune for both sides. So if in fact we get to the point where we're holding you ransom, what we should do is sit down and make sure that we've got all the things that are important to us, and also that we haven't lost sight of all the things that we want to do that are important. Daily Star, boffins. You don't need a brain after all. Good for the Star. It's brought us back. The lights were on in the Houses of Parliament last night. I know because I was there, and there was a lot of debate going on about one thing or another. And of course, our prime interest still is the question of the brain, and what the picture of the brain and what the Daily Star says. It has its page 3 story highlights how new research from scientists who have reportedly discovered it is not necessarily to have it's not necessary to have a brain in order to learn something. The research shows that sea anemones, which do not have a brain, can still learn and digest and adapt. The paper jokes that the findings are also good news for Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab. The Oxford and Bridge start was not immediately available for comment. Right, we haven't got any reaction to that then. Okie dokie. Oh dear. It's pretty tough first thing in the morning, and this is sort of a Friday morning because we are off air tomorrow because of the day's holiday. But I think that what we should do is we should, if we can, take a look at the weather, and never mind the weather as long as we're together. And let's see. It's today. And no, we haven't, as usual. We haven't got what we want. Is Oh dear. Why we hit this problem every day, and why we have no idea, and we should be looking at the weather for the 6th. The weather for the 6th, please, and not. We're not having much luck in finding it. I know it's there because I did it myself a little while ago. I think this is it. Let's have a look. Well, there you are. It's going to be quite a bit warmer today, but we do have some scattered showers around. So make sure that you take a brolly or you wrap up before you go out. Don't be fooled by the fact that it is going to actually reach about 14 or 15. The temperature right now is 10 degrees. And for this time of day, which is 8:48, is that's quite warm. Yesterday at the same time it was about 3, and so a big difference. Okie dokie. Let's see if there is anything lurking in the local news. Drivers facing a 24-mile A27 diversion as roadworks are due for a 3-mile stretch of road. Take it. The I-27 diversion. Roadworks are due for a 3-mile stretch of road, and it's going to be absolute mayhem going there. And I think you should take note of that if you're at all going to be driving out and about today. There's nothing worse than sitting in the tail end of a traffic jam, knowing that there are thousands and thousands ahead of you, and that you're going to be ahead of thousands and thousands before you finish. It shouldn't be news, but it is. So 6 Chinooks, those are helicopters, are spotted flying low across Sussex over Brighton, Eastbourne, and Worthing. And why? They say, well, let's find out. The Chinooks have been spotted flying low over the area, and going into formation near the West Pier. Radar maps suggest the Chinooks took off from Lydd Airport in Kent before travelling along the Sussex coastline. During the exercise, many interested and riders took to social media to share the sightings in Eastbourne, Bexhill, Worthing, and Bognor Regis. So that's where that stands. The time is 8:50. For those of you who would like to keep ahead of the time through us, and it is controversial. It is a question of the time and the date and the place, because so many things are happening. We need to put them into context. We need to know when they're out. I was out last night. I shouldn't have been. And it's once again because of this business with the yeah, this happens from time to time. I lose my train of thought. But we're talking about parking and so on. And there is a lot going on in the council chambers, and for that matter, I think in Westminster itself about that. Please don't think that I'm a sloppy eater. I am, but this is stuff that, because of my Parkinson's, is left on my lips and my throat. Some people would say they'd love to leave it somewhere else too, but that's it. Okay. Perhaps I can. No, I know what I'm going to do if I can find it, because I'm very keen on the. I am having a bad time this morning, and I can't put two words together. I think that probably I didn't have a good night's sleep, so that had something to do with it. But in many ways, what the problem that we're having is absolutely nonsense. I'm wandering a little at the moment, and the reason is that I'm trying hard to do too many things at once here, because I am on my own, and I'm trying hard to look at what we should be doing in terms of putting stuff up on the screen, and then I'm trying to talk to you as well. And my mind is wandering all over the place. It's not wandering; it's got too many things to catch up on. So let's just first of all, let's go and do our potter's wheel. Well, there we go. That gave me just a few moments to get my act together, because I'm not doing very well this morning. And let's go back to the newspapers, because the issue in Scotland is that is Nicola herself is not under investigation, as far as I'm aware. but it's her husband, who was the chairman of the support party, the Scottish National SNP, the Scottish National Party, who Nicola headed up in the political sense. And it would appear that there's quite a lot of money has not where it's supposed to be. And so the police are looking into the issue to see whether they can discover if any wrongdoing has been done. I think they've only been charged so far. It hasn't become a formal, you have done it. But nonetheless, it leaves Nicola Sturgeon in a very difficult position. And in fact, it leaves Scottish politics in a difficult position. They've always come across as being whiter than white. And they've always been well coordinated and well planned. And they seem not to have been on this particular occasion. If in fact they have been perpetrating stealing with their hands in the back pocket, as it were, then it is something that is going to create absolute havoc in the corridors of power. And in many ways, of course, what goes through people's minds is if she can do it and she can get away with it, then what about the other areas that we touch at this particular time? And of course, what we're up to in the UK okay, Scotland is separate, of course, in this particular issue. It's got its own government, and it's having a rough time, and it's also going to look as if it's under a serious investigation. And what's happening in England is quite different, and the people getting together. Oh dear, I am having problems trying to explain this whole situation. Perhaps I should have left it alone. Look, suffice it to say that there is an investigation going on at the Scottish National Party, the SNP, and the recently retired or resigned leader, Nicola Sturgeon, and her husband, and there is a scandal brewing because of money. There, I think I've got it. Instead of trying to explain in detail what's going on, I've managed to get it out without sounding like a complete and utter idiot, which I have been doing over the last little while. And I can take a rest now for half an hour, and then I'll be back with you. So don't get too excited about where we are. We have in half an hour or so Liza Page with the alternative view. I have been talking to her over the last couple of days, although I haven't seen her, and I know that she's been doing her homework and believes that she's got stuff which we would not be aware of. There we have that little thing about friends having birthdays on internet, but that's also a whole bunch of nonsense. So let's say toodle pip for the moment, and then we'll be back in half an hour with Liza, and she can, as usual, give you the alternative view. So we'll say toodle pip for just a moment. If you see a silly grin on my face, it's I can't believe that I got myself into such a muddle this morning and trying hard to explain to you what was going on. My mind was all over the place. Never mind. See you in half an hour. That's it for the moment.